For me, the killer in Dead by Daylight that means the most to me is the Huntress. They were the first killer that I ever picked up, and they were responsible for getting me into the game and falling in love with it. However, they have one of, if not the worst perk sets in the entire game. And it's truly a shame, because otherwise the Huntress is a very, very powerful character, even if they do get a bit screwed over by maps. So, let's discuss different ways that we could rework the Huntress's perks. The Huntress starts with 3 perks: Beast of Prey, Territorial Imperative, and Hex Huntress Lullaby. So, let's discuss each one of these and why they are kind of bad. Beast of Prey is one of the worst perks in the entire game. Basically, upon gaining Bloodlust, Beast of Prey will activate, which grants Undetectable for as long as Bloodlust is active, and it also grants 50% bonus blood points in the Hunter category. This is awful, as Bloodlust is a mechanic in Dead by Daylight where if you chase a survivor for an extended duration, it activates Bloodlust. Which means that you would be receiving Undetectable when you're in a chase, when you are being tracked by the survivor for all of your movements. And it is especially not helpful on Huntress, because Huntress still has a lullaby, which makes it easy to still hear her even if you have Undetectable. It's a complete and utter waste of a perk. Territorial Imperative is probably the worst perk in the game for the fact that it actually kind of incentivizes basement camping and proxy camping. Proxy camping is the effect of hooking a survivor in a specific location and circling the area, maintaining out of direct line and not being directly around the hook, but returning to it whenever a survivor is trying to unhook. What Territorial Imperative does is, whenever you are farther than 24 meters from the basement while a survivor enters it, Territorial Imperative will activate and show the aura of that survivor for 6 seconds. Firstly, that is a very short duration of aura read, and it is very, very niche. All it does is let you know if someone is entering the basement, which only purpose is for camping. So, by design, Territorial Imperative is terrible. But Hex Huntress Lullaby is actually pretty decent. Hex Huntress Lullaby is one of the weaker hexes, however, it makes skill checks far more difficult for survivors. With you gain tokens every time you hook a survivor to a maximum of 5 tokens, and it makes it so that skill checks will have less of a warning or no warning for when skill checks show up. As a basic overview, it's pretty decent, but as a hex perk it can be cleansed and removed. So I think it works pretty well overall and doesn't really need a rework. It fits the character lore-wise, and it is a pretty decent effect, if not overpowered. So, we have 2 perks that need rework, while Hex Huntress Lullaby can stay as it is. My first rework suggestion would keep the relative spirit of Beast of Prey and Territorial Imperative, but actually being useful. Firstly, we have Territorial Beast. Anytime a survivor begins cleansing or blessing a totem, you will gain Undetectable for 30 seconds. This will allow you to protect your hex totems, it will give you good information on where survivors are, and it will allow you to actually utilize that Undetectable in a smart way. Undetectable still isn't the greatest on Huntress, but it can definitely help. So, I feel like this is a good buff to these two perks, turning them into one that still falls into the spirit of the originals, but actually being useful. And while the Huntress has a Hex perk and regular perks, I feel like she could benefit from having a Scorch Hook as well, as there's already a bit of a drought in terms of Scorch Hooks overall. So, I propose Scorch Hook Wilted Willow. All basement hooks and 4 hooks in the map become Scorch Hooks. If a survivor is placed on a Scorch Hook, they get exhausted for 20 seconds after being unhooked, and 10 seconds of exhaustion for someone who unhooks. This is potentially dangerous for terms of camping and tunneling, but it is a decent reward for the killer who manages to take down survivors. And it is a Scorch Hook, and those are typically pretty strong. So, hopefully you think that these perks would be a good addition to the game. I certainly think that the essence of them would be helpful, and I think they fit Huntress as a character. So, thank you all for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.